And it is a remarkable day, Pat, of college football, including Alabama and Georgia. You know, they typically play for a championship. Georgia's lost 9 of the last 10 meetings against the Tide, but Kirby Smart gets the Tide between the hedges for the first time in his career.
Wow. Didn't realize that. Usually it's in a playoff game or a national championship. Kirby Smart, I think, really likes the makeup of his football team. They're going to go up against a team that last year beat them with Ryan Williams, who was a true freshman. What a shootout. 41-34, they get it done. Now, this is a team that gets Jam Miller back. Big part of their running game. Hasn't played all year. Tim Keenan also comes back. A big part of that defensive line that makes Kalen DeBoer happy. But one thing he's going to have to do is find a way to slow down this deep passing game of Gunner Stockton. Probably his best pass that he makes is the deep ball downfield.
LSU travels to Ole Miss. Last year, Garrett Nesmile rallied the Tigers to an overtime victory in Death Valley. This year, it's the LSU defense leading the way, allowing less than 10 points a game. Trinidad Chambliss will start at quarterback for Ole Miss. He can beat you with his arm, doesn't turn it over, and he can run. Tigers better be ready.
It's going to be a monster game, but how about this one out on the West Coast? Ohio State versus Washington. First-year starting quarterback Julius Sands been playing very well, guys. Completed 78% of his passes so far, spreading the ball around, has a great command of the offense. And defensively, I tell you what, the Buckeyes under Matt Patricia, they're swarming, stopping the run, doing whatever they need to do on defense. But all those games have been in Columbus. They talk about Husky Stadium, one of the loudest places to play in college football. And that man right there, DeMond Williams Jr., is an outstanding quarterback, and running back Jonah Coleman leads the nation with 10 touchdowns.
I'll tell you what, maybe the best team in the Big Ten, Indiana, travels to Iowa. Fernando Mendoza has 16 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he's leading an offense that's an absolute juggernaut. Over the last 2 seasons, they have outscored their opponents by 520 points. You would think maybe Iowa's defense will slow them down. Maybe the run game will keep them off the field. Indiana's defense has played better than Iowa's defense has this year, and that's Gronowski. He's going to have to run the rock as hard as he can.
Oregon and Penn State, the big uglies will be ready for this Oregon offense. But Dante Moore, I mean, he is coming into his own. Nittany Lions haven't seen anything like him. And Bryce Betcher, this Oregon defense hasn't allowed a touchdown pass. Betcher, their leading tackler, making the pick here, and he will become acquainted with Nicholas Singleton. You know, the Nittany Lions have to get their stars going. Singleton hasn't had a lot of big plays. Drew Allen needs to deliver dimes like this to Trevor Pena. We know his struggles against elite competition. Aller, a signature moment in the offing tonight if he plays well. So many great games on the schedule. Yeah. You don't know how it's going to unfold, but we know it's probably going to be wild. Yeah. Because it started last night. Did you see the 3 games and the way they ended last night? Late, it was Houston and Oregon State. Oregon State hasn't won a game. Houston hadn't lost one. Houston once down 2 touchdowns. Connor Wigman to Tanner Koziol.
Interesting coverage there late with a 7-point lead. Houston able to take advantage of that tying score.
Now, sometimes when it's not going your way, it's not going your way. That could have won the game for the Beavers, giving them their first win. Kick was blocked. We go to overtime. Beavers go for it, 4th and 1. Could have kicked the field goal and taken the lead. Nope. Turn it over on down. So now, Ethan Sanchez, a ball game. The comeback complete.
Houston undefeated. Houston undefeated.
We're not done. Look at this in the Big 12. 24-17. TCU had a 17-0 lead. Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson. That combination is lethal, tied at 24. The ensuing drive, Prince Dorba gets to Josh Hoover. Strip sack, fumble, Arizona State. The ball and on the doorstep. What a play by Dorba to take it away. Hoover had moments, but he also had some costly turnovers. Jesus Gomez to give the Sun Devils the lead. And on the subject of moments Josh Hoover would like to have back. Trying to save his team, and he is picked off in Arizona State. wins it 27-24, and it seems there might have been one more game.
What a Friday night. Look at this one.
Incredible. Shades of 1995 when Virginia upset Florida State to give them their first ever ACC loss.
How about that
throw? Last chance for the all. Castellanos to Pittman.
What a throw. He started, talking in week 1. He's backed it up every single week. I thought he was going to pull it off again.
Double overtime, and Deuce Robinson, who had a great night, just can't quite find the handle.
Touchdown on the field review. Wouldn't want to be that guy. Ends up overturning it.
Yeah, we hear the review, by the way. I like what the ACC's doing with reviews, but instead, the fastest field storm in history as Virginia beats Florida State.
Congrats to Tony Elliott, man. Congrats to Tony. Yeah. So you have all of those games last night. You have the games coming up today. Two teams here, Penn State and Oregon. Their opponents, Nick, are 1-14 against FBS competition, and it just sort of underscores sometimes week to week you don't know exactly what you're going to get from a team.
Well, I think consistency and performance is really what defines success, and I think the challenges for teams now to be able to play at a high level and a standard each and every week is more and more difficult, and that's why you see all these games, like last night. I mean, the teams that you thought were going to win really didn't win. Right. West Virginia beats Pitt, then goes and loses badly. Okay. So there's just, and I think the idea that there's a lot of new faces on a lot of new teams and how that chemistry comes together has a lot to do with that.
Well, especially with 18 to 23-year-olds, there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies on the day-to-day regardless, because that's kind of how humans develop. And if you stay here in the Big Ten talking about consistency, Indiana might have been the most consistent team across the board since Kurt Cignetti's got there. This Fernando Mendoza dude playing quarterback for them is unbelievable. What he's doing in the red zone, I think he has like 28 touchdowns, no turnovers, just in the red zone over the last 2 years. He's a stud. They reload. They got a tough one in Iowa. And then Ohio State traveling out to Washington. This is Washington's first game against a Power 4 team. What are they? They could be great. They got a 22-game win streak at home in Washington. The number 1 team in the country has to travel out there and play against them. Yeah. We'll see how Ohio State does. And then the SEC is packed today, Des.
Yeah. I tell you what, Alabama, Georgia, we knew that was going to be a big game coming into the weekend, right? But then after last night, with Florida State losing to Virginia, there's a lot of pressure now on Alabama. Why? Because Florida State beat Alabama, and now Florida State just lost to UVA. That's going to be a bad loss on Alabama's record. We thought it would be a quality loss, but now with them losing to Virginia. So to me, Alabama goes into this game in between the hedges in Athens with a lot of weight on their shoulders. They do not want to walk out there with the loss.
It's an interesting perspective. Notre Dame, we've talked all week or all year about their 0-2 start. Is this a team that can be okay and right the ship? They go to Arkansas. That's a tricky game for them. That's a noon game. I agree with you about Alabama. Alabama is a team that our one memory is week 1 against Florida State. Yeah. Now, they've looked a lot better these last 2 weeks against inferior opponents. How much have they improved? Right. They get a chance to really show us. I think that LSU-Ole Miss game is fun, too, because Ole Miss is scoring pretty much every possession. We've all been bragging about LSU's defense. Right. Something's really got to give, I think, in that matchup later today.
Big test for that quarterback. Yeah. Huge test.
Yeah. I'm not quite ready to give up on Florida State yet, though. Yeah. I mean, that's a tough overtime loss. They played well.
They got a big game next week, as does Houston. Hey, love what we're doing here early. Look at you back in that Nittany Lion costume from last year.
Looks good, baby. Looks good.
You got 7 good lads holding this lion up, and that lion's got a good base, good athleticism, and they're loving today. But just to hit all those games, I can't believe we have them all on one Saturday. I mean, we got the Ryder Cup going on. We got these 5 big, massive games. United States needs to get back in that. We need to win that thing. Okay, we need to figure that out. We can't be losing to Europe. We'll take that anytime. But then Sunday starts at 9:30. It's like a great weekend for ball, and today is going to set the tone like it has for the rest of the college football season already. Electrifying outcomes, magical finishes, new storylines developing.
Oklahoma State takes on Baylor, and for the first time in more than 2 decades, someone other than Mike Gundy will be leading the Cowboys out there. He's the second longest tenured coach in college football. Doug Meacham has been named interim head coach. I don't know if it was a surprise the way that it got a little sideways for Gundy.
Yeah, and obviously everybody has their own opinions on all of this. And Mike Gundy has been coaching for a long time, and we're in the middle of a brand new era. And a lot of people are saying he didn't adapt to the new era. I think he was spending money. I remember he had QR codes on the helmets, which the NCAA told him he couldn't have anymore. I think they were trying to figure it out. But with the hospitality that Penn State has afforded us, I got a chance to do my show yesterday in James Franklin's practice facility over here. There's 70 people working all the time. NIL, recruiting, scouting, everything. It's a big organization now, and you have to have the right people seemingly everywhere, or maybe your entire program goes down. Even if you have money, Coach, it has to be good money.
No, there's no question about that. And, you know, some people had a tougher time embracing the whole idea of paying players, especially some of us old-timers. You know, it was a little more difficult. And Mike Gundy has been a great coach for a long time. You know, coaching is teaching. Teaching is ability to inspire learning. And for those of us who kind of get that, and that's been our self-gratification for so many years, embracing paying the players has been a little bit harder. And I think that ultimately is what got them at Oklahoma State.
Mike Gundy played quarterback there, 10 years as an assistant, 21 years as a head coach, 35 years he was in Stillwater. And you live this. But I always feel like, and Dabo might be going through this a little bit, you get to that 10-year, 12-year, that same message, that same story, it doesn't have the same impact, with the players. I don't know if you experienced that at all. The challenge of maintaining that, maybe that caught up to him after 21 years.
Yeah,
may not be the last move, too, with some veteran coaches as we go around and go through this transition stage in college football. It is time for the grab bag. These guys don't know what questions are coming. Find out their improvisational skills, starting with Desmond Howard. Desmond, we're going to spin the board and pick a question. Stop.
Who's the best? Hey, it gave me a heater right out of the gate.
Ohio State's a reigning national champion.
Ohio State is the #1 team in the nation. Guys, right? Listen, the most impressive team I've seen was Indiana last week. But I think the best team is going to play in this stadium tonight. Who? And they ain't wearing blue, baby. Oh, it might be quack. You got a duck. You got a duck right there. I got a duck right there. Hey, yeah, you're up. I think it might be that team.
I'm glad you got that.
All right, Herbie, here's your question. Who's your Heisman favorite after John Mateer of Oklahoma's injury?
Yeah, and I'm listening to this, bro.
All right, hold on. You're going Mendoza. I'm going. This is bad after your comment. I apologize.
Oh, no.
I like this guy.
A huge win in Happy Valley. Oh, my gosh.
I like that guy.
Sadiq going crazy. Oh, man.
You know what? We're going to get those two guys green suits. Just get them a green suit now. Pat, you're up, buddy.
Stop. Which top 25 team is on upset alert? I'm going to say this. There's a top 6 game happening here in Happy Valley, and these Ducks need to watch their fat asses as they go in. There's a bunch of them. Mississippi State can make some magic today and really ruin some dreams. I think we're week 5 right now. I think we don't know anything about anybody. I think every game could be a potential top 25 upset, especially with how last night was, personally.
Absolutely. Nick, you're up, bud.
Notre Dame better watch it.
Stop.
Yeah, I agree.
Which undefeated team has surprised you the most?
What do you
you know, you mentioned Mississippi State, and they've already doubled their win total, I think, from a year ago. They had 70 new players on their roster. Jeff Levy's done a really good job there. But how about Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt is undefeated. If they win today, they're going to go to Alabama undefeated next week.
Great game.
When is the last time that happened?
That's a great game.
Bunch of smart kids.
Maybe some of you the season opener. I don't know. It would be the only time. Kirk, you're up this time.
BYU in here as well.
Who's up?
Stop.
Most dangerous one-loss team.
Most dangerous one-loss team.
I'm going to say after last night, I think Florida State is still the most dangerous one-loss. They're a one-loss team now. They would have been undefeated. You're not feeling that?
Tennessee. Think about that Tennessee, Georgia.
I like Tennessee, too.
I like Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That was a battle with Georgia.
Yeah,
and
I forgot about Tennessee. That's a good one.
Texas?
I think they're a playoff.
Tennessee.
I think Tennessee's a playoff.
And Texas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Stop. College football's most electric environment. Boy, I've seen a lot of them over the last few years. I've been baptized into college football with this game day run. Baton Rouge is incredible. Alabama down there is amazing. Tennessee at 102,000 down there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But there's nothing like a whiteout in Alabama.
Facts.
Especially at nighttime watch. Shout out to Fox. This is going to be at night. This is about to be out of control.
Herbie, you're up again.
No. Reese,
is that right?
I think this one's you.
Okay, so this is Reese. Stop.
I like that, Reese.
Blind resume.
Blind resume.
Name both players.
Okay, total QBR 84-39, responsible 4. That's not good. 3-0, 4-0.
Who is this?
That's a tall, handsome guy, I think.
This is doing work right here.
All right,
Who can this guy
Drew
be?
Aller and now Bo Prabula.
What is this, dude?
Former Penn State quarterback, now Missouri, has been balling.
Wow.
But we said it right off the top. This is Aller's chance tonight. This is why he came back.
They've been vanilla. Now they go.
What we got?
All right. I think we got a little hint as to what yours is going to be.
It's like a
Nick.
glitch.
Back to the top 25 teams. Upset alert today.
Yep, we had a little glitch right here. I think the question was, here it comes. We're rolling it again now.
Better mascot.
Mascot. I mean, is that my question?
Yeah. Is it the dog group thing or the one?
Wow. Listen, this one is more vicious. This is a vicious mascot. Yeah, this is just a friendly little duck. All he wants is a body of water so he can exist. This one right here. Yeah, he's
Very entertaining.
extremely entertaining.
We are. Thank you. He's a friendly lion.
He's friendly.
Yeah.
I like the lion because I have the outfit, so that's
I would like to say, though, that Duck has the most amount of moxie out of any mascot.
Hey, great. Alabama has won 9 out of 10, but one of the problems that they've had, they haven't played well on the road under Kalen DeBoer, but they have played well since the Florida State game. Now tested tonight in Athens as we go to the DoorDash dashboard now with Kirk and Nick, and a look at this Tide offense led by Ty Simpson.
All right, Reese, Coach, before we look at this year, what was your memory of that blackout? You guys obviously played well. It sounds like your team was fired up.
Oh, yeah, it was a great game. I mean, we played great in the first half. I think it was like 31-0 or something like that. But I think they canceled the blackout for this game. So,
I think you're right after that memory. This Alabama offense got off to a slow start, tough ask on the road to Tallahassee. Last couple weeks, inferior opponents. What have you seen? It seems like they've rebounded. Quarterback's playing with some confidence.
yeah, I think the big difference is Ty Simpson's playing with confidence. But I think one of the most important things playing against Georgia is you got to be able to establish the run, all right, so that you have balance on offense. You can't let them tee off. They can't get you in 3rd and long. Here you're going to see a really good job of them executing a good, positive running play, which is the kind of stuff you have to do against Georgia. And this is going to be one of the most challenging things because Georgia is so good and prides themselves in stopping the run. I love this. Watch these guys strike these blocks. These 3 guys right here. I mean, I love this.
Look at the size.
Love it.
This is what you love, the bodies just eating up those offensive linemen.
There's nothing better in football than that.
I love that.
Flat back and hat speed and knock them back. I love it.
All right, so how will Alabama respond if they can't get that running game going?
Well, the one thing Alabama has improved on is their ability to make big plays in these last few games. Ty Simpson has done a great job. Here's Ryan Williams making another big play for a touchdown, which they have done a great job of since the Florida State game. So this is going to be a key because Georgia's had a little issue giving up some big plays by not playing the ball well in the deep part of the field, which is, critical in playing good defensive back. This guy's got the guy covered. He just doesn't play the ball correctly. And misjudging the ball can be a huge problem.
Yeah, he's got eyes on it, which is amazing. I mean, it's not like he didn't locate it. He's a really talented corner.
And he's in good position.
Yeah, great position. But you're right. They're going to get tested today vertically downfield.
They'll get tested. But here will be a test for, to me, Alabama's offense is Georgia has 100 ways to press you, especially on 3rd down. So if they can't run the ball, create balance, stay out of 3rd and long. And you're going to see this is a new concept. Eyes coverage. All right, they're going to blitz. They're rushing 6 guys. They're going to play 2 under, 3 deep, all right, which doesn't look like blitz to the quarterback. But you got to be able to handle this pressure or Georgia will just wear your ass out.
So bringing 6, what is the quarterback thinking when he sees this? What's his mind?
Well, he thinks it should be man-to-man across the board.
Instead, he's getting the zone behind him.
He's getting the zone look. And there's big holes and big openings in this, but the quarterback has to have time to take advantage of it.
Reese just brought it up. It's been talked about all week. Alabama has, for whatever reason, not played well on the road. With Kalen DeBoer there so far, 2-5. What is it about playing on the road? What does it take? What would you tell your team when you go into these tough environments, whether it's Oregon tonight here at the Whiteout or Alabama dealing with Georgia?
Well, I think we make a lot of, the crowd, the impact the crowd has and all that type of stuff. But, when I was back at Ohio State, Woody Hayes used to always say, make them sit on their hands. So what I always talked about with our team was the crowd's not going to make any blocks. They're not going to catch any passes. They'll make noise. We'll practice the noise. We'll handle the noise. But they're not going to have any impact on the game. It's going to come down to us and how we execute in the game and keep our poise in the game and create momentum and see if we can make the crowd leave the game. That's how I used to approach it.
Right, and it worked, obviously, for you. Reese, obviously, we just broke down Alabama's offense later in the show. We'll go to the other side, break down Gunnar Stockton, and talk more about the Dogs in that offense.
With Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman, I think the shirt is fitted just right, but the question is, Marcus, I've always heard you got to keep cologne in your locker so that you smell good in case you do good. So what are we wearing today? What do we got?
Hey, man, we're getting ready for a football game, and you want to talk about cologne? Come on, man,
You had a meeting with your defensive staff that you didn't want to talk about cologne, and you said you didn't want it to be comfortable. So what is it that you think that came out of that meeting that's going to help your team today against Arkansas?
Yeah, I think the whole point of that meeting was we got 1 or 2 options. Either you're going to point the finger at one guy and say it's his fault or he did something wrong, or we're going to come together as a unit and as a staff and say, what do we got to do to fix the issues we have? It isn't a call. It isn't a scheme. We got to fix some of the issues that we're having. The only way to do that is to have buy-in, and that trickles down to your players. And so that was my challenge to them all. You're either going to do this together or it's going to separate, and it's going to be bad for everybody. And I like what I've seen this week.
2 losses to the number 2 and number 9 teams in the country by a combined 4 points is obviously not a most desirable way to start your season, but also for your young quarterback. Can you tell me about Carr, how he's handled everything and what you expect from him today in a hostile Arkansas environment?
Yeah, Pat, he's a dude. He is a competitive. He's talented. He's gotten God-given ability, but he is a competitive individual that prepares his tail off. And, I know game 1, like any first-time starter, there's some growing pains, but we had to say, you know what, let the guy run the show, and he did a really good job in the second half. But what you love about the guy is he takes every loss personal. Like, the dude wants to win more than anything. It's not about yardage. It's not about how many completions. It's about what do we got to do to win, and that is what makes him special.
Hey, Marcus, you played 3 games. Coming out of camp, you think you know your team. Now you've had some evidence of some good moments and some moments to learn from. Where do you guys have to clean things up to continue to kind of get better every single week, starting today there in Fayetteville?
Yeah, I think on each side of the ball, it's a different challenge. On offense, how do you handle success? Like, everybody's telling you how good you are, and, Jeremiah Love and C.J. Carr, and all. Like, how do you handle that? Do we prepare at an elevated level than we did last week? And can we go out there and outperform? I always say people hold on to the past because they don't think you can do something better in the future. So we got to let that go and get back to work. And defensively, how do you handle some adversity, right? Like, there's issues that we have to get fixed. And the only way to fix them is to own them and not pass blame and point the finger at one guy. That's what I spent time talking about. You can either point the finger at one person and say that's the reason why we're having failure, or we're going to come together and own it. And we got to own it. And I really believe they have. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do today. Now, the challenge isn't any easier. I mean, you got a top 5 offense in the country that is extremely talented and doing a really good job. So let's see our guys go out there and compete a little bit.
Yeah, Marcus, what I was going to ask you about is the game today. Bobby Petrino presents some unique problems, offensively for your defense, and Taylor Green is an outstanding player. What do you think the biggest challenge in slowing them down today?
Yeah, I think number one is we got to dominate the line of scrimmage. We got to win up front, and we got to limit the explosive plays. And we know some of the issues that have contributed to the explosive plays, but I think the most important, I would say, is we got to affect the quarterback. You can't let him beat you with his legs or his arm. You got to try to confuse him pre-snap, and you can't let him run vertically because he's fast. He's a long strider, so he might not look that fast on TV, but he is fast. And so it's a great challenge. Coach Petrino uses every personnel, every formation, so we got to be on point, and we got to go out there and respond, and I think we will.
Coach Desmond, thanks for doing this. I've read about you and your relationship with your dad. I'm close with my father, too. I know he served in the U.S. Air Force. What influence has he had on your career professionally?
I think as you get older, you say, okay, here's traits I got from my mother and my father. As far as my dad, it's the routine. It's the ability to, say, hey, I'm getting up this early, and this is the work we're going to put in. And, I think the other thing I noticed from my dad is he always had honest conversations, and that's important, like to be honest with people no matter if they like it or not. But probably more than anything is the competitor side of me, right? And, I love competing, and I love when my back's against the wall sometimes, and I'm trying to make sure our program understands that you can't be afraid of failure. You can't be afraid when times are hard and people are all jumping on top of you, man. It's like this fight or flight mentality, and I think a lot of that I got from my father.
Marcus, quickly, what are you looking for from Leonard Moore in warm-ups to determine whether he'll be able to go for you?
He's getting close. I don't know if I'm overly optimistic that he's going to be able to go, but they said, listen, Coach, we're going to bring him out here in warm-ups, and we're going to see how he does. He looked good enough yesterday to say that we can't rule him out. But at the end of the day, we got to do what's best for the player and for the team. And so, like I said, we're preparing mentally. I'm preparing as if he's not going to be out there. But if he can go and he feels like he can help this football team, Leonard will go.
Coach, me and the fine people here at Happy Valley want to say your lineup is fresh this morning. We can smell you from here with the cologne. And we have a huge game here. There's a bunch of big games across the country. It feels like college football is having its best season ever. And obviously there's a lot of time left. What is your message to your team? How you got to take care of each individual game, but also everything is still in front of you guys. I feel like that's a very real thing.
Yeah, we're all human. They know what the future holds, but the challenge is to continue to focus on what's right in front of you. And that's what we're guaranteed is this opportunity. And how do you take advantage of this opportunity? You win this play. And I know that's coach's talk, but it's real. We waste time thinking about an uncertain future. We'll never get a chance to achieve some of those things that we aspire to achieve.
Des, that's a national champion fade. That is a national champion fade and a national champion lineup.
Well said, Marcus. Well said.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you. Run fast, run fast, run